What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Trump token today. Yes, Trump official. Hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you all for being here. I've got a specific plan in mind with this coin, and I want to share it with you guys and just kind of paint a story for you before we get into the TA. Because first and foremost, looking at this here, I think we are at a kind of double bottom opportunity, which could send us back to these levels here, to these levels here, and even above these levels here as well. We could be seeing a move that takes you all the way up to $5 and above, maybe $4 and above. Here we are at $2.82. Perhaps we only get to like a dollar above this. Nonetheless, any type of movement from here at those kind of levels is going to be nice. I'm thinking like 30% or more growth from the current levels over the coming days. It might happen literally over the next 3 days. We could genuinely be above $4 3 days from now. And the reason why is because on the 25th of April, Trump is having his second crypto like Luncheon Gala event based on the holders of his Trump token. The only way to gain access to this event for the 297 guest seats that are available, where I think Tony Robbins is going to... my voice cut out kind of like Tony Robbins there. Tony Robbins, Robbins, he's going to be a keynote speaker. Mike Tyson will be there as well, speaking, and there's going to be some crypto-affiliated professionals that are there as well. I'm drawing a blank on who all's going to be there. There's some other big names, but those are just the names that I remember. It should be a good, interesting event. And if you want a seat to that, if you want to be one of the guests, you have to buy and hold Trump token until the 10th of April. So I think that between now and the 10th, we're going to see some upside. I would have thought that we'd see it, over this past week, but whatever. It doesn't take much. Maybe one day we pump. It could be on the 10th itself that we pump like 40%. But nonetheless, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I think it's going to be a very obvious play. The rules here are that you have to buy and hold Trump tokens sometime between the 12th of March and the 10th of April. You have to hold in this time range, and you have to be the top 297 holders, something like that. And I think that costs like $5,000 or maybe it's $20,000 to get into that level. I forget what it is. You put in that kind of money, you're going to push the price up a little bit. And then it takes like $100,000, something around there, to get into the VIP spots, which are the top 29 token holders. I do believe that there might be a bit of a bidding war to go to this event. Maybe it's not that big of a deal and nobody cares. Perhaps there will be the top 297 holders and half of them don't even show up. I don't know. I would imagine that they do, but you never know. You have to register. You have to do all these things, but they have to hold until the 10th, and that's the snapshot date. However, there's a stipulation to this. You have to hold until this date to get your snapshot. That's whenever the wallets are decided as far as who's the top holder. But then you also have to hold until the event is over, until the 26th of April, to get your benefits. And it says the 26th of April. I would imagine it's based on UTC time. You see here, I think you can see, yeah, here in the bottom right here, this time zone. I think it'll be the 26th of April based on that. Whenever that clock counts down and it shifts to the 26th of April, that will be like the early evening, or even actually like mid-evening if they're in Mar-a-Lago, on the 25th of April. So it'll still be the 25th in Mar-a-Lago, but it'll be the 26th on this chart. All I'm saying is you have to hold until this day over here to substantiate your position, to substantiate your tickets, your guest seats, your VIP status, all that stuff. So there's going to be people who are buying in between now and here who cannot sell until here. And in this time frame between now and this day, I would assume we're going to get a little bit of a lift up. In between this time frame here, I would assume we get a little bit of a lift up. We had the same thing happen last year, wasn't it? It was last year in May. The announcement happened here on this date, 22nd of April, and it was the 22nd of May that the gala event happened. Now, we did pump, we did dump, and then going into the snapshot close, we pumped again. Then we were sideways, we sold off a little bit, but there was a little bit extra of a pump that came in. We sold off the day that gala happened, that the gala occurred. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw similar results, something like that here. Maybe the pump is smaller, maybe it's larger, stuff like that. But that's just the idea. That's what we're trading off of the narrative, which we don't normally typically do, but this one is kind of an exception here, I guess. Looking at this on the short-term stuff, looking at the 1 hour time frame, we did actually just see a move down, a very like psyop of a move down where we saw lower lows, right? We got to lower prices than anything we've seen over the past couple weeks here, or even more than that as far as time goes, since March. It's the lowest lows that we've seen, and as soon as we had that lower low, we reversed. A lot of volume came in to reverse, push the price up. Every time we've been down here in this area, it's been a good time to buy. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. If you're using leverage and stuff like that, you can definitely make the most out of these 4%, 3%, 2%, 6% moves from this area. And I wouldn't be surprised if from here we went even higher. I do believe that we're going to see some higher price action, and this fake out really helps reinforce that idea. Now, if we take this bullish candle here and we reverse back down to these levels, that could be problematic. Okay, that could be very problematic. However, I do believe that we will see some type of growth between today, tomorrow, the following day, and the following day. What, the 10th? Let's see. Today's Tuesday, so the 8th is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is the 10th. By the end of this week, by the end of this business week, this normal operating hours week, I would assume that we are seeing prices that are all the way up at $3 or more, which from the current price would give us an overall growth of about 8.8%, which isn't a whole lot, but at the same time, gains are gains, and I think there's nothing wrong with taking small gains consistently over time. And if this is one of the plays that you can have to do that, that's awesome. Again, if you use leverage, that can up the ante, but it also ups the risk to the downside as well. If we go to the 1272, that's about a 9%, 8% growth. If we go to the 1618, that's about a 12% growth from here, something like that. And if we do what I think we're capable of doing, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something that was all the way up at like $3.50 to potentially even $4 and above. But that's really the gist of it. That's really all I have to say. The 1 hour is providing bullish divergence on the MACD, stochastics, and the RSI. Looks like we want to move up. Clear reversal candle there. 4 hour time frame, the RSI is neutral but bearish. What I can say is that, this low here, you were oversold consistently. This low here, you were oversold a little bit, and then you bounced off it. This low here, not oversold. You are seeing a shift in the way the RSI is behaving here, all at these same price levels, and I'm getting a bullish shift, not a bearish shift. The MACD consistently rejecting the zero here once, twice, a third time. Each time, however, getting less and less significant with these rejections. All it takes is that next cross. If we get above this zero, understand that all these pumps that happened here, these little tiny pumps here, they happened without the cross above the zero on these oscillators. If we cross above the zero, the last time we did that, we saw a pump here that was roughly, let's see, from a low point to a high point. That was a 66% pump. We take that and apply that here, that would take us well above $4. So that does not mean that we have to see a pump this size just because we saw it last time. The last time that we crossed above the zero doesn't mean that we have to see it here, okay? But we do have like a news-generated, narrative-driven event coming up on the 10th, and from the 10th to the 25th as well. So interesting things can happen. It can happen quick or it can happen slow. But then we cross above this zero line here, oscillators and the stochastics getting out of the oversold zone, the RSI showing its strength and maybe working its way to the overbought zone, all that in culmination, we might see a lesser move, we might see a more fantastic move. I wouldn't be surprised either way, but I do think that we're going to see prices that are well above $3, probably close to $4, if not above $4 at the very least. I've got nothing else to say. My eyes are really focused on this kind of target here, personally, like right above $4, but time will tell. We look at this with our fibs. High here, low here. Actually, we have the low here. That's a fake out low, though. We're gonna take this low. The technical targets would be the golden ratio at a minimum, which is 34% from, not from the current price. From the current price, it's like 32%. 786, 886 would be next. It's like a 45 to 50% growth. And if we get above $4.25, we likely will see something on the lines of an 80% to 116% growth. 80% to 116%. We look at this on a daily time frame here. I'm going to delete everything so we have less noise. Anytime we've seen any type of exuberant pump at all, and specifically in relation to the last gala event last year, That was a 130% pump there. From a low point here to a high point there, that was a 72% pump. From a low point here to a high point there, that was a 60% pump. I'm not going to measure the October 10th lows. I think that's silly. From a low point here to a high point here, that was an 85% pump. These aren't really too significant. We can measure them, but they're not the type of move that I'm expecting happens. Given the current dynamics and the indicators that we're seeing here and the bullish divergence we're getting, not just on the RSI but on the MACD and the stochastics as well. If we were to see a pump that represents any of these pumps, anything of the like, 60% to 130% seems to be reasonable, and we should probably take the low. The low itself would be, even here again, from this low to this high, we saw a 66% pump, so right in that range. If we were to see anything on those levels, 60% pump would take us right to about 443, tit for tat, double top. If we were to see anything larger, the next smallest move after that was 72%, so 72% would be about just under $5, and anything above that, any of these other ones, let alone a bigger move, would take us above $5 and potentially even higher. But that's my expectation. My expectation is any and all of these outcomes could happen. I do expect that we will at least see a 30% pump from here, and that should be easy pickings if you're buying at the appropriate levels, which I think are right now. It's very easy if you're buying on spot. You're not buying with leverage. You're just buying regular, like spot traded positions. It's very easy to have stop losses that are not that detrimental to your cause at all, while still reaping the benefits of what could likely be a 30% or larger move. I do think that we'll see something larger than a 60% move from this current level, but nonetheless, I said what I said. Hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves, and if you want to make a play based on this, go for it. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Bye-bye.